Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another wonderful episode of Sporting Perspective. It is week 8 of the NFL season. But before we jump into week 8, which is being known as Mimageddon because there's 6 teams on buys, let's jump back into week 7. We got some things we want to talk about, and James, I'll let you take the lead on this.
Yeah, so my first big thing I want to talk about is New York Giants fans have to be super excited for the future of Dart and Scattaboo, um, aka Arm and Hammer, aka the Bash Brothers. Both guys are looking like, obviously knock on wood, they stay healthy and things go the right way. That this could be the future of, you know, the Giants. I guess I'll say backfield for for years to come. I know they lost that game to the Broncos in kind of crappy fashion, giving up like 33 points, I think it was in the
In the
fourth
fourth.
quarter.
Yeah.
But it's not like the Giants are supposed to be good, whereas the Broncos are supposed to be good. Like, I mean, it was a bad loss, but it's not. At least the Giants aren't the Jets. I'll say that. So, yeah, my big thing is just I've been really, really impressed with Jackson Dart, and Cam Scattaboo is like he's like the running back everyone wants, just like a weird white meathead who's literally willing to run through walls.
Yeah.
So yeah, future looks bright in New York.
Yeah.
Fingers crossed. Hopefully.
Yeah, hopefully. I mean, I know last week's game turned out being not how the Giants fans wanted, but I think this is a season where you're just kind of hoping that you get guys that look like they're going to be promising in the future. The defense is young, fairly young, and as long as Jackson Dart shows promise, Scattaboo, who they got in like the fourth round, is kind of a steal at this point. Um, it looks like they're turning into a situation where they're going to have a nice young team going forward.
And I'll throw
Heartbreaking fashion.
Neighbors in there too. Unfortunately, he's hurt, but I mean, still a super young dude who hopefully in the offseason can grow with Jackson Dart, and that could be a
Yeah,
scary uh, quarterback wide receiver combo next year.
agreed. So my first thing I want to talk about is Green Bay. I know a lot of people were sold with Green Bay very early on in the season, but they seem like they're just kind of hitting cruise control here. They beat Arizona by 4. They've kind of struggled to peel away from some of these teams throughout the season. Um, I don't, I don't want to say I'm out on Green Bay, but I'm starting to get a little bit concerned that we may have all jumped on top of this train a little bit too early.
I'd agree with that. I mean, I think Detroit is far and away is the best team in that division. I don't know. The NFL's so weird. It's like one week a team looks great, the next week they're like you're down on them and you're like, what the hell? That team's terrible. Then the next week all of a sudden they bounce back again. So I think the ceiling for Green Bay is still there, but maybe the floor isn't as high as we thought it was gonna be. Just kind of
Mm.
dubbing them like this really, really great team and really, really great defense. I mean, Micah Parsons is definitely a problem, but yeah, I'd agree with you. I think there's still a long season left, but I want to see some more like kind of dominant performances from the team that honestly probably should be a little more dominant. When you have guys like
Yeah,
Josh Jacobs, veteran, Jordan Love's not. I mean, he's young, but he's been in the league a little while now. It's not like he's like a young guy. Like, you know what I mean?
yeah,
Like he's young. Yes, he's young, but like he's seasoned. So
yeah.
um, yeah,
It feels like, especially after those first 2 weeks where they dominated Detroit, they dominated Washington. It just feels like they've been kind of in this lull ever since.
yeah. There's also just, I mean, their fans are all over the country, and lots of people just like, if you're not a Bears, Vikings, or Lions fan, not a lot of people just like hate Green Bay. They're kind of like,
Yeah,
I don't know. I personally would say they're more of America's team than the Cowboys. A lot of
yeah,
people have more fun making fun of the Cowboys than actually liking the Cowboys. So,
true.
my number two, Actually, you know what? I'm just going to do my number two and three because they're kind of
Okay.
tied into each other. Um, I just basically wanted to give a shout out to Jonathan Taylor. I think he's the best running back in the NFL. With that, I also think the Indianapolis O line is one of the best in the NFL. Um, I mean, a lot of running backs credit their O line. Obviously, you need to have a good O line to be a good running back, typically. But even if the O line wasn't as great, Jonathan Taylor's a freak. The guy just bounces off people. He's breaking tackles. He's looking like that running back from Wisconsin and the rookie we saw when he first entered the league. So I personally think, he's 26 years old. If I were starting a franchise and I needed a running back, I would probably pick him. And the reason I tie that into my number three or my third point, and I have these two together, is I think Jameer Gibbs isn't too far behind Taylor. He's younger. He's also, I mean, he probably is more of an athletic freak than Jonathan Taylor. He's might be a better receiving back. The thing with Jameer Gibbs, and you'll never know the answer to this. It's one of those what if scenarios, but I don't want to say David Montgomery is holding Jameer Gibbs back, but he's taking enough carries away from him where you're like, okay, would Jameer Gibbs be putting up like absolutely unreal numbers? I mean, we saw it last year when Montgomery was out, and Gibbs was like on freak level territory. But like, I looked at the box score last week, and David Montgomery had like 11 to 13 carries or something for like 20 yards, and Gibbs was just running rampant on Monday night. So, like I said, you can't just assume, okay, you give those 11 carries to Gibbs and he goes well over 200 yards rushing or gets a couple more catches and goes over 100 yards receiving and whatnot. But, like, man, I just want to see what that guy can do as, like, a true bell cow. But
Yeah.
then at the same time, the other half of me, I understand why they do it. You want to manage your star running back for hopefully that he just gets unleashed in the playoffs.
Yeah. Well, I'll talk about my 2-3 right now, real quick. My two is about a bell cow situation. Just giving praise to Christian McCaffrey. Talk about a guy that is doing everything for a team. He's leading the league in rushing attempts, and he is third in receptions in the whole league at this point. He's already eclipsed 1,000 yards scrimmage or 1,000 scrimmage yards. At the age that he is, with all the injuries and everything like that, I don't know if this is sustainable, but through 7 weeks, this has been very impressive.
Yeah, he's a freak athlete. And the only thing I can maybe think of that has helped attribute to it is that, like you said, he's been injured a lot. Not, I don't want to say that, obviously, injuries aren't good, but when you're injured, you're not getting hit every week. So, yeah, I guess technically, I guess you could say he's more susceptible to injuries, but anyone in the NFL, if you're hit wrong or hit in the wrong
Yeah,
spot, you can get hurt. So to me, everyone's injury prone. But yeah, at his age, at an age for a running back when you should be kind of winding down, I mean, that's why these guys are special. Like the Derrick Henrys. I know Derrick Henry's having a kind of an iffy season, but you know, you get to a certain age, especially as a running back, running through the holes, getting hit every single time you touch the ball, picking up blocks. Anytime you pick up those linebackers or defensive linemen coming through on blitzes, uh, I mean that takes a toll on your body. Yeah, Christian
yeah,
McCaffrey is just—there's no other word to say than freak.
yeah. And then my last thing is just the fact that it's unfortunate that we saw Mike Evans go down with not only the collarbone concussion situation. Just wanted to give praise on the aspect of it sucks because we may have seen the end of a streak here of those 1,000 yard seasons come to an end. A very impressive streak, and with that, the Tampa Bay wide receiving core. I know Ibuka's emerged and everything like that, but may have shifted overnight. With now Goodwin can't stay healthy, Mike Evans can't stay healthy. The new day may be here of the Johnsons and the Ibukas and McMillan, when he gets healthy again, a new day looks like it might be starting in Tampa Bay.
Yeah, you hope that it's not like the end of a career because if he doesn't come back at all this season, he's at an age where he could probably, I mean, if he really wanted to, just hang it up.
Yeah,
So yeah,
he's getting
always
up there.
sucks.
He's already 32, I believe. So
Yeah,
yeah, but it was sad to see because he's one of the good guys in the NFL, and it would have been great to be able to see him. I know he tied Jerry Rice's record. It would have been cool to see him break that record, but I don't see that happening at this point. So, but all right. Well, do you want to jump into the 8 week games?
let's do it.
Let's do it. We'll start with tonight's game. Minnesota heading to LA to take on the Chargers.
I am gonna keep this simple. I'm taking the Chargers. Minnesota just hasn't done enough yet to prove it to me. I don't even know who their quarterback is. They
Yeah.
keep seeming to be Carson Wentz. Even I just once they make that switch back to McCarthy, I think he just still hasn't played enough
Yep.
to really win in the NFL yet. And I don't think Carson Wentz is the answer either right now. So I'm taking the Chargers.
I think it's going to be the Chargers too, but I think there's going to be scoring in this game. Justin Herbert threw for over 400 last week. Wentz was able to make throws, but every single day I see rumors that they're going after Kirk Cousins, which is also not a good sign for J.J. McCarthy. Um, but I'm going to take the Chargers here. Let's move to Sunday. Miami, who they looked terrible last week, losing to Cleveland. Heading to Atlanta, who's coming off of the disappointing loss in San Francisco.
I'm taking the Falcons at home. Dolphins are just a complete mess. Bijan, Drake London. I think those guys are just going to be too much for that Dolphins defense. So I think the Falcons are going to take this one.
I'm going to take the Falcons too. Miami is just terrible. The question remains: when is Mike McCarthy's last game going to be? At this point, so and if they're going to make a
Or Mike
change,
McDaniels.
sorry, but yeah, sorry, when's that going to happen? And unfortunately, at the same time, is Tua's time coming to an end too? Because he has not looked good as well. So,
No.
I mean, he threw up. I know we don't care too much about fantasy, but when your quarterback throws up -2 points, that's not a
You're not
good
having a good
sign.
day.
That's not a good sign. Um, Another one where a team is very much struggling, and we still have no idea who they're going to play at quarterback. The Jets heading to Cincinnati.
Yeah. This isn't the week for the Jets to win. I was actually really impressed. Joe Flacco has looked great in Cincinnati, and I think that continues. I mean, if you want to talk about a competent quarterback, let's talk Joe Flacco because uh, you know, he's gotten T. Higgins and Jamar Chase back on track. He's just got that team back on track in a division where they keep rattling off a couple wins. Wouldn't be
Yep.
unheard of to see the Bengals make the playoffs. So yeah, I'm taking the Bengals at home. Jets are also just a complete mess.
Yeah, I'm taking Cincinnati as well. They look like they at least have a pulse. The Jets really don't. Cleveland heading to New England.
Cleveland, it really impressed me. I think New England's just a little bit more impressive. Drake May, to me, is the reason why the Patriots are going to win this game. Their defense also played really, really well last week. I really do like Quinshon Judkins. I think he's going to be the running back in Cleveland for quite some time. But I just think the Patriots at home, Drake May looks like, as of right this exact second, probably the best quarterback from that draft class. Um, just crazy to say. If you talk to Washington or Chicago fans, they'd probably say differently. But Drake May looks pretty damn good. So I'm taking the Patriots at home.
I'm taking the Patriots as well. They just look more established. I know Cleveland looked good last week, but it was against Miami. New England kind of looks like a little bit of a machine here, and some team that you don't want to really face, especially being in New England. Um, yeah, New England's going to be my pick. Giants taking on Philadelphia. Philadelphia looking for payback from just 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, and I think they give that payback. I think the Giants already got their win against Philly, and it's not going to happen again. I think Philly just has way too many weapons, and once they can actually just figure it out, they'll go back to just being a contender in In the NFC, almost in Western Conference, NBA's. Yeah, in the NFC. So yeah, I'm taking the Eagles at home. They're not going to
Yeah,
let baby brother Giants win again.
yeah. I think Philly wins this one. Tough to play in Philly. Um, they're not completely fixed yet, but they'll win this one. I feel like there's going to be a little bit of a hangover for the Giants from last week as well. Um, Buffalo coming off their bye, heading into Carolina. It looks like Andy Dalton's going to start in this one.
Yeah, I mean, again, I want to see what Andy Dalton can do. I know he elevated like Xavier Legette. He had a really good game. Rico Dowdle has just been a absolute monster for the Carolina since he's taken over at running back. But I think the Bills, I think having that bye will help. Um, yeah, I mean, if you're just going quarterback versus quarterback, I'm taking Josh Allen over Andy Dalton every day. So,
Yeah,
Bills.
yeah. Don't need to spend too much time here. I will also take the Bills. Chicago heading to Baltimore. Unsure about Lamar Jackson. He's at least practicing though, so that's a good sign.
I'm taking the Bears. I think they've started from the bottom and they've kind of started creeping up. They just look better and better. Um, yeah, Caleb Williams has been impressive. He didn't have a great game last week, but they still handled. Who did they play last week? Bears played.
Washington, and then they played
Did
who?
they?
They played Washington the week before.
Wait, they
Who did they play?
are they coming off? No, who? What? Oh, they beat the Saints.
Oh, yeah, okay. That's why I
They
forgot
beat the
about it.
Saints. Caleb didn't have a. I mean, he didn't have a bad game, but he just kind of really had to just game manage because the rushing attack was so dominant. But I honestly, I'm taking the Bears. I need to see Lamar out there, and the potential for re-aggravation is always a little scary. So without Lamar on the field, the Ravens are just an absolutely completely different team. So I'm
Yeah.
taking the Bears.
So I'm going off the fact that that Vegas has this as a 6 point line in favor of Baltimore. I feel like they know something with Lamar playing and Lamar being healthy and ready to go. Lamar with Baltimore, if healthy, that's a tough person to beat. And once that offense is clicking, it's clicking. So I'm going to take Baltimore, and I'm going to take the fact that I believe Lamar plays, Lamar's healthy. If Lamar doesn't play, Chicago probably wins this game. But I'm going to go with the fact that Vegas has the line at 6.5, and they might know something that we don't. So, um, San Francisco taking on Houston.
Stroud has regressed. McCaffrey is back. That's all I'm going to say. 49ers.
Yeah, I like the 49ers as well. Houston just has not had the same buzz this year at all. Um, San Francisco, even with all the injuries, they're scoring.
Nico Collins is banged up too, so who knows if he plays.
Yeah, yeah. So, but I'll take San Francisco. Let's go to the afternoon slate. Tampa Bay heading to New Orleans.
I'm taking the Bucks. I think Baker does enough to elevate whoever he's playing with. He was actually I was watching that game on Monday night, and he was missing everyone high. So I'm sure that'll be something that was discussed in film. Come on, Baker, bring the ball down just a little bit, and you could have
Yeah,
connected on a couple of touchdowns and even some big plays. So the Saints they're also just not a good team. They're
yeah.
competent. They're not like they're not the Titans. They're not the Jets. They're not. Who am I missing?
Titans, Jets are really the bottom two at
Yeah,
this
I guess
point.
it's really just kind of just Titans, Jets. I guess Dolphins.
Yeah,
I,
Dolphins. Yeah,
I would say I would give at least the Saints have a little bit of a pulse
yeah,
compared to those other teams that are just like dead.
yeah.
But yeah, I have the Bucks winning this.
I got the Bucks as well. I got nothing to add there. Dallas heading to Denver.
I'm taking Denver. I think they whatever scare got into them, and then that rally they had to make in the fourth quarter. I'm hoping that they bring to this game in a full four-quarter game, not just waiting until the fourth quarter. It's at home. That Dallas. Well, I'll say that Dallas defense is bad. The Bronco defense is good. So I'm taking the Broncos at home.
I'm taking Denver as well. I think this might be the first defense to actually slow down Dak and the Cowboys this season because they've been amazing on offense. But I think Denver slows them down. Denver does enough on offense. The line over under line on sorry, the over under is 52, which is a lot of points in my opinion. But I'm going to take Denver. I don't think they're going to need 33 points in the fourth quarter in this one. Um, I feel Denver wins it fairly comfortably. Uh, Probably the worst game of the of this slate. Tennessee heading to Indy. I don't think we got to say much here.
Colts.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's probably the easiest one of the week. That would be a crazy upset if it were to happen. Green Bay heading to Pittsburgh for Sunday Night Football.
I am taking the Steelers at home. Aaron Rodgers is coming off a four touchdown showing. Yeah, I don't really have anything else really to say. I'm taking the Steelers. It's weird because they don't have that steel curtain defense like they always seem to have. Um, but yeah, their rushing attack is good. Warren's looked awesome. Rodgers is turning back the clock, throwing multiple
Yep.
touchdowns. It seems like every week. So yeah, I'm taking the Steelers at home.
Yeah, so this is where it gets tricky for me. See, I want to take Pittsburgh, but I'm going to end up taking Green Bay. I feel like Green Bay's got to turn it around somewhere, and maybe it's going to happen on Sunday Night Football where they're going to show up and just ball out on a team and have a complete game that we haven't seen here in a few weeks. And I feel like this might be the game. So I'm going to take Green Bay, and they just show up and they prove it on Sunday Night Football because these last three games, especially four games, they've been kind of lackluster, as I said before. Monday Night Football may not be very exciting. Beginning of the year, this looked like a great matchup, but this could be pretty bad now that Daniels is out. Mariota's in at quarterback for the Commanders in Kansas City.
Yeah, like you said, if Daniels is playing, I'd maybe have a different prediction, but I think the Chiefs handle the Commanders pretty easily. I mean, we saw what the Chiefs did against the Lions. So yeah, I'm taking the Chiefs.
I'm taking the Chiefs as well. Nothing to add there. And let's jump into our top five. With so much sports happening this weekend between the World Series, college football, NFL, NBA, NHL. We figured let's do a top five favorite sports to watch list since we are jam packed with sports now. So let's just jump right on into it. What's your number five?
My number five is Premier League. I'm a big soccer guy. Love Arsenal. I'm actually in a fantasy Premier League, so that helps. Obviously, makes me more interested. But I would say ever since the 2010 South Africa World Cup, that just like I don't know, I got soccer fever. I started watching every USA friendly, uh, just any basically any USA women's and men's match in general, and then I try to catch as much Premier League as I can, but I definitely try to watch every Arsenal match. Yeah, I got Premier League at number five.
So I've got the MLB at number five, and it's purely because of the month that we're in right now. You get to the playoff season for Major League Baseball, and it is electric. Middle of the season, not as exciting, but it's also one of the few sports, actually probably the only sport, that has a preseason that's actually exciting to go to. With us living in Arizona, or me living in Arizona, Cactus League is a lot of fun just going out there and drinking and stuff like that. So really the beginning of the season and the end of the season for Major League Baseball for me is why it goes at number five. Those two parts of the year are really fun.
So I got NBA at number four, and sort of like what you said for the MLB. It's not preseason per se, but NBA has NBA Summer League, which is always a fun time out in Vegas to go to, see the rookies and young dudes and some veterans who are just trying to grit and grind and make a team. Um, but yeah, I mean, I grew up playing basketball. I love basketball. It's not the NBA of old. I feel like I've kind of fallen out of the true love of the NBA like I used to have. Maybe part of that is because the Suns have kind of gone down a couple, like the last couple of years. But yeah, I got the NBA at four.
Yeah, my number four is also the NBA for a lot of the same reasons that you just said. Um, I don't have much to add on to it, but the fact that it just has multiple parts of the season now with the NBA Cup in the middle as well. It dominates Christmas, or it used to dominate Christmas, that is. Um, and then the NBA Finals, the NBA playoffs are always a great watch, especially these days with so many balanced teams. But a lot of things that you said, I would just double up on.
So my number three is NCAA basketball, March Madness. U of A is always good, but then disappoints every year. Um, but yeah, I find myself watching tons of college basketball games. The parody I feel like is always a little more fun because anyone can beat anyone at any given time. It seems not that it's not in the NBA, but like there are dominant teams in the NBA and they typically beat the shit teams. So, um, but yeah, the biggest thing for me is March Madness. It's just 4 weeks of just complete madness, as the name entails. So yeah, I got college basketball number three.
Yep, I got the same three. I don't have anything to add. March Madness literally is my only reason it's at three, actually. Those 3 weeks of college basketball are insanely electric and one of the few events that I drop everything to watch no matter what's going on. March Madness, especially that first weekend, is amazing.
My number two is Major League Baseball. Baseball is like my first true love. The first sport I played being, I guess technically soccer was the first sport I played, but then t-ball. Um, I don't know. Baseball, I feel like I just get. I can like, I can watch a pitcher's duel. I can watch the home run derby, the All Star game, playoffs. You know, Tampa Bay Rays versus Baltimore Orioles in the middle of July. It doesn't matter. Again, fantasy baseball helps a lot with that too. I know way too many of the prospects in every organization, but it's just that one sport where I feel like I can like I don't know, I just understand it. I can look at hitters, I can look at pitchers and like kind of scout them a little bit to, figure out do I want this guy on my fantasy baseball team or not. Whereas other sports I'm not too great at, with one of my biggest ones being I said Stephen Curry would never make it in the NBA.
Well,
So it happens. Anyway, shit happens. But yeah, Major League Baseball is my number two.
so my number two is NCAA football. College football Saturdays are fantastic to watch, whether you're home, at a bar, with friends. Upsets happen every single weekend. For gambling purposes, it's fantastic. And now with the playoff the way it is, it's just expanded so much more. It gives so many more opportunities to so many different teams. It also helps that my team, the Oregon Ducks, have been good at college football for the past 15, 20 years. Makes something to look forward to every single Saturday. With my NFL team being the Cardinals, they're terrible. So it helps having a team to root for in that aspect. But college football, um, probably my favorite to gamble on, um, and in second place to watch.
I'm gonna just speak for you. I'm gonna say you're number one because I know it. You and I
Yeah.
both have the NFL at number
Yep.
one. It literally has you watching every Monday, every Sunday, every Thursday. It beats out the competition. Fantasy football is so, so, so dumb, but you play it every year in the hopes that your team just stays healthy because that's really what it comes down to. And then obviously being active on the waiver wire. But
Yeah.
I mean, we obviously have a show dedicated like we're doing right now just to the NFL. So it's, yeah.
Yeah. There's not much more to add. It's the the NFL. I feel like in this country is just so far ahead of everything else.
Oh, yeah. I mean, you literally live to Sunday to watch
Yeah.
Red Zone.
Yeah.
They have a
100%.
channel dedicated to just
Yeah.
jumping around in all the games. No other.
Yeah. No other sport
But
has that.
other sports are trying to do that and figuring
Yeah.
out their own ways in which they can. Like I know college baseball during the World Series had
Yeah.
something I can't remember what it's called, like at bat, college baseball at bat, or I don't know, something like that. MLB I think actually has one too, but I don't know. It doesn't. Nothing compares to red zone.
Competes. Yeah. All right. Well, anything you want to add before we jump off for this week?
Yeah, Cardinals aren't losing this week.
Yeah,
They're
on
on
a
the
bye.
bye.
On a bye. I guess really fast. Who do you have winning the World Series?
Uh, it's hard not to pick the Dodgers. So here's my thing. I'll say this real fast. Typically, I like to back the National League because of the Diamondbacks. However, the Dodgers are a rival. I don't like the Dodgers. I don't want to root for the Blue Jays because I don't want Canada to be superior in baseball. But I'm rooting for the Blue Jays because I just hate the Dodgers that much. But I, if you had a gun to my head and had to pick who's going to win, I got to go with the Dodgers. Their starting pitching is so good. And then
Yeah.
if Otani can just do what he did in Game 7 and then just do that over a series and it's game over. He's not going to
It's
do that,
crazy.
but, like,
No,
yeah.
it's crazy. I got the Dodgers in five. They just got so much talent and so much pitching, and they just do half of what they did against the Phillies and the Brewers. They're going to win the series easily. So
Now,
that's
I'll
my
just say
feeling.
this, too. Trey Yesafage is one of the starting pitchers for the Blue Jays who was like, I have him on my fantasy team. He's a prospect I've been holding, keyword prospect, and he's already thrust in as one of like the better Toronto starters. Like, I'm sorry, man. Like, I get you're skilled, but you haven't quite been in a situation like this. So, like, whether he's going to go up against Snell game 1 or Yamamoto game 2 or Shohei I mean,
It's tough.
yeah, it's not good.
Yeah, it's not good. All right. Well, everyone, enjoy the wonderful sports weekend ahead of us. And until next week, I don't think we got anything else. We'll be back. So, kind of back to a regular schedule without everything happening in sports in one week. So, until then, have a wonderful weekend, everyone.